Hello, family. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Wilma, and if you're here for the first time, I welcome you. So, as I mentioned a few days ago, I am back with a bang. So, if you haven't watched my comeback video, just scroll down. You see the first video, click on it, and just watch why I have been off this space for this long. But we are back. So, let's just get into today's video.
I know you told your friend you're not okay.
So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you something I discussed a few weeks ago with a young ladies ministry, God's Influential Ladies, and it really blessed me. And I felt that I could share with my YouTube family. So let's just dig in. So we talked about the calling of a woman, okay, and or we talked about God's calling for us as women. And for this space, you know that most of the videos that I do are geared towards encouraging couples or women that are, trusting to conceive or women dealing with infertility issues. And one of the things that stands out for me when you are on this journey is to finding out purpose and living your purpose whilst you are still waiting for this miracle. So that took me to talk about our calling as women. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, or the first thing I'm going to say is that right in the Garden of Eden in Genesis chapter 3, we see how God's intent for women was somehow tampered with by the devil. Yes. So if you would be truthful to yourself, you realize that within a short space of time, a lot of women are doing mighty things, amazing things all over the globe. And it is because women have been set apart in this end time by God Himself for kingdom advancement. And you watching me, yes, you are part of that advancement. Now, the reason why we need to know what is our calling or why are we even called, or when they say that there's a call on our lives as women, what is it all about? The reason why you need to know this is because one, there is no time. I said that we are in the end time. If you read Matthew 24, you will see what I'm talking about. Disasters happening everywhere. So there's no time. We've literally exhausted our grace period, I must say. The second thing is that honestly, people are in so much bondage that God is waiting on you. Okay, God is waiting on someone. Bible says that who will I send? And He's waiting for someone to avail herself for God, or God is waiting for you to avail yourself for Him to use you for that particular assignment, so that someone can be saved, so that someone will be liberated from that bondage. And the third thing I would say is that because, once you discover your call as a person, you become fulfilled. Everything that you do, everything you say, everything you partake of in becomes a tool through which you can now evangelize to somebody. And as a Christian, there's no better fulfillment than to seeing another soul added to the kingdom, right? So, yes, it's important we understand um, our call as women. Now, the next thing I want to briefly talk about is that there are three callings that women are called to everywhere, everyone you are. Everyone is called to be a wife, everyone is called to be a mother, and everyone is called to the marketplace. Okay, so these three areas, I'll just literally talk about them just briefly. I pray that I'll be able to do another series on this. Now, the first thing, as I mentioned, that every one of us is called to be a mother. So women have been graced. We are graced for mothering. When I say mothering, I'm not just talking about biological, or raising your biological children only. But we have that innate ability to nurture, to take care of things, to grow things, to make sure that things are birthed, okay? And that call is in every woman. Women bring dead things to life, literally. Situations that are not working, you place a woman there, and I bet you there will be life to that situation. So, yes, every woman is called to operate or work in the calling of a mother. The second thing is that every woman is called to walk in the anointing as a wife. Then, unless you don't want to marry, But if you truly want to marry, you cannot just want to marry for marrying sake. You need to marry with a mindset that you are going to be a kingdom wife. And who is a kingdom wife? A kingdom wife is one that has been set aside to enable she and the husband come together to fulfill kingdom destiny or kingdom destiny. So it is important you understand first of all your place as a wife, and also to understand your place in the life of your husband to enable him fulfill his call. And as he's fulfilling his call, you realize that you are also fulfilling your call, not just as a wife, but in all the other areas that God has called you to also fulfill. Now, the third place I would say that God has called us to as women is in the marketplace. So, as women, we often tend to either have 9 to 5 jobs or be entrepreneurs or have something going on that will bring us income. Now, regardless of where you find yourself, whatever you are supposed to do or whatever you are doing in the marketplace must reflect Christ. When you speak, there must be solution. When you offer, opinions, your opinions must be valued because they see something unique about you. In the marketplace, you should be the one that will stand firm and make sure that, like the Proverbs 31 woman, there is no lack. There is financial prudence on all sides. So these three areas are, in a nutshell, areas that we have been called to as women. Now, if you read, I think Titus chapter 2, you would see what I'm talking about. How, because we have been called to these areas, it doesn't end there. Your legacy must also be that you would also train another young person or another young woman to also take up their place. So when you begin to work in this calling, it is not just for you. I said earlier that you are supposed to also drag people out of bondage. And one of the things or one of the weapons is to pass on the knowledge to the next generation. And that is why you find me sitting here. So the final thing I would say on why we should know our calling or why we should be able to work efficiently in our calling is this. Listen, you have giftings, you have talents, you have things that the Lord has asked you to do. The world is awaiting for your manifestation, or the world is waiting on you to manifest those giftings. Let me use my Faith My Womb, for instance, the ministry that my husband and I run in the show. Had we not undertaken this assignment, listen, we wouldn't have known that so many women struggle when it comes to fertility. But through what we do, they've received hope and are encouraged and are moving on in all the other areas of their life. So, yes, you watching me, you have been called. Now you need to know and find out where you have been called to, because again, some people are also called to specific things, and what I just described, my faith mom, is just one of the examples. So I pray that you would purposely seek God on where you have been called, why you have been called, and to whom you have been called. So I pray that this summarized version of what I preached about with God's influential ladies blesses you. And the ultimate thing, or to conclude, I would say that the enemy thought that he had, terminated or aborted God's plan by tampering with what God set up in the Garden of Eden. He did not know that God had the ultimate plan. God had already made plans far in advance to send his son on the cross to come and die for us. And you would see that even with Jesus when he came, it was women that were supporting his ministry. When Jesus was on the cross, the men denied him, but the women were at the cross, or were at the what do you call it, at Golgotha, standing with God or standing with Jesus Christ in that situation. And when he arose, it was the women that also went to even get him or to see him or encounter him first. So I mean, God has something beautiful prepared for women, and I pray that you don't miss it. In our time, we must see the Deborahs of our time, we must see the Abigails of our time, we must see the women that God has called to stand and stand well. Because listen, I didn't talk about motherhood so much, but let me end with this. We have been called to raise the next presidents, the next finance ministers, the next bishops, the next engineers of our time, to make sure that God's assignment continues or God's legacy continues. So there is so much we have to do. And I pray this message blesses you in your own way. And I pray that God will also show you where He is also taking you to by virtue of your call. If this video has blessed you, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and most importantly, share this video with someone else. If you're on this journey of trying to conceive, you can email me, wilmaforson@gmail.com, or myfaithmywomb@gmail.com, and let's dialogue. See you in the next video. Bye bye.
I know you told your friend.